Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this lunch and learn session. I see a number of highly proficient Apex users, so welcome all of you. We will definitely need better participation in this competition, so we will clearly have to work on the invitations that we're sending out to make this accessible to as many people as possible. And yeah, so thank you very much for joining, and let's get into it. The intent. Sounds very busy there on the Sling side of things. All right, so welcome to today's session. Today's session is not going to take a long time. I'm essentially just going to explain how the contest is going to work and when the various submission times will be and how the competition will play out. So I would highly encourage you to send and share the invitation to your colleagues as well. It will actually benefit all of us. The one thing that I've learned being in the technical support space for a number of years is that you always learn something from someone else in how they do it. We tend to walk our paths and know them very well. And then when you see somebody else reach the same goal but take a different route, you realize that there are many different ways of doing this. And that's the reason for our technical challenge that we've come up with as well, is to really not only, of course, the competition is going to reward the person who wins and who is the best CAD to measure or Apex user in the world, well, at least in Sub-Saharan Africa in our territory. But the focus is really to share tips and tricks and to learn from one another. And each contestant will have the opportunity to also share their ideas. And yeah, let's see who can walk away with the main prize. But hopefully everybody will be a winner in the sense that everybody will learn something, find new ways of doing the same things they've always done. Now, when I prepared these slides, Benya told me I'm just going to scare people away. So this is not going to be the model that you will be challenged on. So fortunately, the one that we're going to work on is going to be much, much simpler. We always also understand that you will be doing this most probably in your free time or with a office license, so you won't necessarily have too much time available to work on. So we've tried to keep the challenge as complex as possible, but short and sweet, so that you don't have to do the same repetitive thing over and over again. As we know, Apex has been renowned for its CAD to mesh capabilities. In the process of trying to make it as easy as possible to use and also to give you as few tools required as necessary, there's a lot of hidden tips and tricks and things that one don't necessarily know if somebody who've used it doesn't show you that. Now, we are fortunate that we work closely with our other business partners and their technical guys at Hexagon themselves. We have a special dedicated Apex technical meeting where we chat and exchange ideas and challenges. And, you know, in the running of things, when a customer, when one of you asks us for a solution, we hopefully have an answer for you, but then we don't necessarily remember who we told what, and then, you know, go on and think everybody knows what everybody knows. And that's the one thing that I've learned in my life, is that nobody knows what everybody knows. And the more we can network and the more we can spend time together to share what we know, the more we learn in the process. Okay, so the competition will be quite simple. Everybody will receive access to a specific CAD model, and we will validate that the model is correctly modeled by evaluating the modal frequencies of the structure. We will have set rules. We will also set up a dedicated communication channel where we will communicate, where everybody will have access to the questions that anybody has, and that we can answer and share the same information with everyone. So we will encourage you to rather ask questions in that communication channel than contact us privately, or if you do contact us privately, please understand that we would like to share the same information with the other contestants, and we will then do so. Right, so the next slide will capture more of what you can expect, and then there's only one slide left to go through the competition and then open the floor for any challenges. So you might have seen this model before. I've used it a lot in demos. There's a whole story on our website about this particular model. I've been working with it for many years, and the pure reason I kept on using this model is it is so particularly bad. Really very typical industry type CAD model that's suitable for manufacturing. Well, in some areas, not really even suitable for manufacturing, but in most cases, absolutely not suitable for analysis. So the whole focus is to share tips and tricks how to do this very, very quickly. Now, in the early days when we did the benchmarks, everybody concluded, now this I'm talking about the days of Patran, that it would have taken you a month to clean up this model. Now, we've reduced the detail of the model a bit to remove the repetitive things, but we try to keep all the challenges because that's essentially where things goes wrong. Is the moment you try something and it doesn't work, or you execute a tool and it doesn't want to play along. And that's where the challenges really comes in, and where we don't want you to waste time and battle through a long way around a certain problem, but find shortcuts. So that's part of our job that we find is important, that we spend time not getting to destinations, but finding alternative routes. And we would like to share as much as that as possible. So the model that you're going to find is the one on the left. You will receive, this is a solid model, and you will be required to create a stitched mid-surface model with typical properties applied. Very straightforward. What we also intend doing is maybe change the competition as we go along. So this, the moment we see that everybody's mastered this model, or we've kind of matured to the same solution, you know, if that happens and if everybody more or less has the same time, we're definitely not going to chase milliseconds or even seconds. To compete, we're definitely not going to try and see who's the best under pressure to, you know, to complete the project. We really want to see if somebody stands out as who has found the most tips and tricks. And just as an example, we've been using this model. As I said, personally, I've been using it since the dawn of Apex, which was in 2014. And just a few weeks ago, when we sat in the office and we worked through the model, Zach came up with a solution that I've never thought of to do something in particular. So it doesn't matter how well you know the model. It really doesn't matter how well you know the software. There's definitely always something to learn. And that's why we would definitely like to learn from you as well. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. So everything you want to know, I would like to cover, and everything I don't cover, I would like you to ask. So the first thing is that you will firstly need to register that you would like to participate in the course. I'm literally just after names and surnames and email addresses so that we know who to send the CAD files to. That will not be sent automatically. We do ask that you don't share the CAD files freely or with anyone, except for the purpose of participation in this competition. At the end of the day, it is, although we have permission from the customer whose model it was, that we may share it, it is still proprietary information, and we really only want to use it for educational purposes. Not that there's much in there for you to now build your own fuel tanker, but who knows. Right, so entry will be free and only SIMTEQ Engineering customers are eligible. Sorry, just give me a moment. I am clearly not used to talking anymore. So I just had to get that one out. Okay, sorry about that. So if our friends from overseas are listening in today, we do apologize. This will be exclusive to SIMTEQ Engineering customers to participate, but we will actually share what we are doing with our other business partners in the rest of the world, and maybe they will start the same initiative and we will learn from each other. Right, the next thing is that, just hold on now, things are popping up on places. The fact that SIMTEQ reserves the right to cancel the competition if participation is low. So my aim is that we have at least 20 people participating. So from the look of things, we have a lot of work to do. So I really ask you to share and let other people know as well. I know your chances is better of winning if there are fewer people participating, but if there's not enough people that participate, we're not going to feel that it really warrants, the prize money that we are willing to put on the table. So hopefully you can help us reach that goal. The competition will then inevitably close on the 28th of February. So there will be ample time to experiment with the model. There will be ample time to work with us, ask questions. We will share certain general tips and tricks as well, especially when we see that people are struggling or they're taking too long or longer than we expected. Sorry about that. Okay. The winner will be the person who can prepare the model with the least amount of steps, or well, this is not totally correct. This more, let me just change this slide. I had it. I think we've discussed it and then just didn't update the slide. Okay, so what will happen is there will be continuous updates. We will ask participants to give their initial times that it takes them from importing the CAD model to providing the correct geometry and mesh. We will not take the solving time into account of the equation. Sorry. We do understand that not everybody's computers are at the same performance level. Although I don't think the analysis time will be that significant, it will, however, be required to conclude and check your work that if the modal analysis is within spec, we will accept that as being correct. We will also give you certain guidelines as to what we expect in certain areas, and I will share a bit more of that in a second. We will then run a scoreboard of the top contestants and keep that updated regularly. We will call the initial period until middle of February the daylight period. Those of you who participated in MATLAB competitions many years ago might have remembered the terminology. So this is a period here in which we will share the name of the person and the times that they managed to complete the task in, as well as share tips and tricks. So if we see that there's a large discrepancy of one or two people maybe doing it very quickly and the majority of people not doing that fast, we will obviously pick up on what the experts are doing and share those tips and tricks so that we can lift the capabilities of everybody. And then there will be a darkness period for the last 2 weeks where we will not share any updates and we will not share the progress or the competitors' times anymore. We realize that after February things get hectic at work as well, so then you will probably have little to no time to compete in any case. So we will close the competition at the end of February, and then we will ask our contestants, the top contestants, to prove that their times are indeed correct by recording their steps with a macro as well as a screen recording. So the macro will basically be the witness of what tools were used, and the screen recording will essentially assist in sharing tips and tricks. And we also ask then that no custom macros or scripts will be used except those that are part of the standard installation of Apex. So Apex has a standard set of tools, but there's also custom tools that comes pre-installed with the software. You're free to use any of those. And because we know, a lot of things, you can write your own scripts, and we obviously want to entice people and teach people how to do that. We're not going to allow that for this competition at this stage. We will hopefully get to that in some future competition. But for now, only the standard scripts and macros will be allowed. Then the top 3 contestants will be sponsored to attend the 2026 Users Conference, where the winner will be announced and the prize will be handed over. So we will then also share the recording of the winner so that everybody gets to actually see the process. Hopefully by then, this whole project takes less than 20 minutes. We're not sure yet. As I said, our team still has to go through a rigorous testing phase where we do this ourselves. We've tried it on the more complete model, and we battled to get it done in less than an hour. So we took out some of the repetitive things and tried to keep in all the challenging bits. So we'll see. Hopefully we can get the times or the winning times down to less than 20 minutes, but we'll see if that's achievable, and then share the screen recording of the winner doing that, and then hopefully everybody can then also learn in that process. So really the aim of this competition is to share tips and tricks. We also made sure that the analysis can be done using the student edition so that students can also participate. I think it will be really valuable if if it can be known in the industry that you're a top contestant in this particular task, because I think it would be valuable to know who can really generate the CAD model in record time and who needs more time than really necessary. So we will create a dedicated channel, typically a Teams channel, where everybody that registers to participate, we will communicate with, where we can chat, where we can share screenshots or videos or whatever the case may be. Also just important that no other software than Apex or later versions may be used or will be required. So this will be the only product that you need to use or will be allowed to use. Tony.
Paul, you disappeared there for a second. Mind just repeating the last sentence.
Okay, am I back now?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, so I'm just mentioning that the only software that you will need for this analysis is MSC Apex 2025.1 or later. That will be all that is required or allowed for that matter to be used. And the same goes for the student version. Also the same version, that is the latest version that is available. Okay, we will then also discuss internally whether or not we will actually share the required end result so that you actually know what is required of you, so that you can actually compare it with your own result. Of course, the competition is about getting to that result, not the result itself. Okay, so to give you a better idea, I've brought in the CAD file over here. So this is what you can see. I could maybe just highlight some of the typical challenges with this design. Fact that plates have different thicknesses. They don't meet one another necessarily. The profiles don't necessarily match. We see areas over here where there's manufacturing gaps left. We see areas where the solids penetrate one another. We see interesting chamfers being applied to the model, lots of bolt holes. Very, very typical type of model for manufacturing, but not necessarily accurate for analysis purposes. I think this is essentially all the difficult parts. So as I said, we try to simplify it down without making it easy. This is definitely not an easy model, even though it may look like it. And the end result that we are after will look like this. So we're expecting fully stitched mid surfaces, a lot of detail removed. Gerrit is not happy with my mesh, so I still need to make a plan with that. We need to compare results. But I think this gives you a good idea of what it is. Very traditional type of way of dealing with a sheet metal type problem, where we reduce the number of degrees of freedom dramatically by using mid surfaces. In another round of the competition, we might even go the other route to say, okay, now let's do it for solids and redo the simulation or cleanup process and model everything with solid elements and clean it up for analysis again. Some things that I might maybe just highlight here is we see some doubler plates. Now, the challenge always with a doubler plate is how do you deal with that, or how do you prepare it for modeling? And what we've chosen to do over here, for instance, is to build in little fillets that represents those welds. Same over here, where the original showed these doubler plates. We know in reality it will be welded on the edge. So this is typically what we want you to represent as well. Okay, so that's it from my side. Now, if there are any questions, please raise your hand or just speak up. We're a small enough group that you can just speak up.
Hi, Paul. Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Perfect. I think some of our students will be really interested. The only issue we might run into Apex version problems there, just because the version that we've got installed on the lab computers is not the 2025.1 version. I think it's actually 2023 something. Is that going to cause an issue?
I think that might. So I would highly recommend installing the newer version, or if they really have to use the lab, maybe there shouldn't be a limitation. The current student version that is available for download is the 25.1 release. The previous one would have been 24.1, if I'm not mistaken, the one that was released last year.
Okay.
So if your labs are still running an older version, I would highly recommend them installing the newer version.
Okay. I'll chat to our IT guys and see if we can get that shipped to all the PCs.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Philip. Akash, I see
Paul, you've got a question in chat as well.
Okay. While I read that, Akash, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, if we win, do we have to declare it to our company?
Declare it to your company. Declare the prize money. Sure. Okay.
I'm joking.
Yeah, no, I'm glad because that sounds like it could be complicated. I see a question: what method to use to determine the weld thickness? We will specify a value for you. So for these weld fillets, we will just specify a thickness for you.
Sorry, Paul.
Yes.
Not related to the competition, but the method that you use to represent the fillets. Is that like an established method or accepted, or is obviously it should be, but I mean, at some point, is there some way we can get some background as to how we got to that solution?
Let's get Gerrit to comment on this one. Can anyone? Oh, he's not in the meeting. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, he's not in the meeting. Okay, now I'll
I thought he was sitting. I thought he was sitting here. Okay, so there's two approaches. One approach which is sometimes used is purely to glue the two faces together. But the problem with that is then you don't really portray the thickness correctly. The problem with this method is that it does not transfer compression through the doubler plates, but it does portray tension through the structure correctly. So it is a bit of a challenging one if you're not going to do a nonlinear analysis with contact. So for this project, we are not going to consider contact, purely because of the complications and runtime challenges that brings along. But yeah, for industry purposes, the correct method would be to have it connected where the weld is, and have the same properties as the weld assigned to it, but then have contact, touching contact between your plates where they can transfer compression, but they allow them to separate when they can.
All right, thanks, Paul.
Right, have we exhausted all the questions?
Oh, sorry, is this a symmetric model?
Yes. So this is, in this case, well, it's a portion of a quarter model. The actual model was longer, but it was just more of the same. So we limited it to a quarter, and we're going to evaluate it as such as well. Without symmetry, as I said, the purpose is not really on the end result, it is on how to get there.
Yes.
Paul?
Yes, sure.
Can we share the link to register with the guys that are not on here?
Please, yes, please. I'll appreciate that. As I said, we want as many people as possible to participate, not to lower your chances of winning, but to really assist people in being more effective and working smarter, not harder. So yeah, I think all the managers, you must most definitely force your teams to attend this competition and show their worth.
Paul, just another question from my side. I missed a portion. I had to step out quickly. You spoke on it's going to be sort of time, who can do it the fastest. And then you also briefly mentioned steps, and I'm not sure which one it was, because I think maybe somebody's really quick, but they do a lot of steps, and somebody else is not as quick, but do fewer steps. What was the conclusion on that?
Yeah, so we kind of started with a bit of both and ended up with that the time it takes will be the deciding factor. I think if we get to competitors being very close, we might look at the number of steps. So the intent is definitely not to give people that works extremely well under pressure necessarily the advantage, although they will definitely be the better modelers. But as I said, the focus is on learning. So if one person can do it in fewer steps and not necessarily more time, I think, let's put it this way. I think if there's two competitors and one can do it in less steps, but he takes longer to do it, it might just be a matter of muscle power or muscle memory. Then I think, that there's a good argument to be made. But I think, ultimately, as a group, as the SIMTEQ team will then have to make a call on who they declare the winner. So I'll reserve that right for us to decide. But yeah, I think the bottom line would be time. But if there's a small difference, or the pressure of the day or the temperature in the room is going to make a difference, then we will rather look at number of steps.
Okay,
As long as those steps were not automated with a custom script, and only the standard tools and installed scripts were used.
Perfect, thank you.
But yeah, I think it would be great if we can have competition from the various universities. See who's better.
Yeah, I'll try share it with the postgraduate students. I don't think the undergrads will be able to take part, because obviously at the start of next year they'll hopefully be on some of the companies.
Right.
So I'll share with the postgrad.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks, Philip. Right, any more questions? Okay, great. If there's no more questions, oh, there was a question sharing the link. Let me do that in the PowerPoint. I've got it here, so it's just share it in the chat. You can maybe just check if this does indeed bring you to this form. Very simple name, email address, and please understand that you accept not to share the CAD file. Then we know that you are going to participate, and as I said, the closing date for the participation entry to indicate that you want to participate will be end of the month. Just put it up. Okay. Right, if there's no further questions, we will communicate further with everybody who registers by the end of October, and we will set up a dedicated Teams channel where we can chat and take it further and explain or answer more questions. All right, thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Paul.
Pleasure. Bye.
Thank you.
Paul, I just want to confirm we must do it the way we normally do it, right?
And what way would that be, David?
Contracting someone in.
No,
all right, I'll wait until you finish before I poke my nose where I shouldn't, Paul. Have a good weekend.
Okay, you too, Dave.
Bye.
Bye-bye.